that everyone likes to joke about this is still a better love story than Twilight, but no, this isn't. This isn't a better love story than Twilight. All right, we are back with another brand of famous guy MILF movie with daughter drama with Netflix's A Family Affair. I can't say the original title in like the first 30 seconds of the video, but like at the end I'm gonna tell you, and it was so much better. But A Family Affair starts Netflix rom-com veteran Joey King of the Kissing Booth franchise, Disney Channel heartthrob turned pretty serious actor Zac Efron, and Nicole Kidman. I keep wanting to do something lighter in tone, but come on. Also, why is her hair so yellow? I know we just recently covered The Idea of You, which is a superior movie to this in most ways, but there are some similar ideas explored here, like when a mother gets to be her own person again, particularly after the loss of a partner, can they still be sexual beings? But this one has a major focus on the adult child, who is oftentimes a selfish, self-absorbed little shit to everyone around them. Well, the celebrity is of course also a selfish little shit at times to everyone around them. I don't think there's anything particularly egregious about this movie, but I also don't think there's anything particularly great about it either. It originally seemed like it was going to steer a little bit more on the goofy side of things, which would have worked in its favor, but then it just tried too damn hard to have emotional moments with everyone. Like Nicole Kidman said she wanted to do a rom-com, and I'm really not getting much calm out of her. The movie really just needed to pick a lane. Like, the daughter is clearly supposed to be a bigger focus in this story, so it's weird how much of the runtime is exclusively given to Strong Jaw and Mom. Not to say that this couldn't have any more serious and emotionally resonant moments, it really just needed to dial in when it was gonna have them and make room for everyone to be a comedic factor in this movie. So to me, this movie was just really tonally inconsistent, which comes down to the writing and it not seeming like they had a clear idea of how they wanted to convey things in the movie. Honestly, the second Kidman gets on screen, it's like the humor starts to slowly drain until we're left with a bland romance that doesn't know where to put its focus. When this movie's letting Zac and Joey be funny, it's at least somewhat interesting, and it should have steered way harder into that. But if you haven't seen it, you might not have any idea what I'm talking about, so let's dive into the movie. But first, today's video is brought to you by you, my lovely Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. Thank you all so much for the support and all of the recent new subscribers. So the movie starts with setting the stage by giving us a little montage of Zac Efron as Chris Cole, action star lead of the Icarus Rush franchise, a cinematic beauty, I'm sure. But the upside to making a movie about a fake celebrity with a real celebrity is that you can just start using a bunch of stuff from his career, like this TIFF red carpet appearance for the greatest beer run ever, jumping out a window as Ted Bundy, the range he has. And Joey King here is his assistant Zara, who he's promised to teach in the industry ways to help her get ahead, but more often than not just running errands, including picking up earrings for breakup gifts. Yeah, the whole movie starts with a fake out where you think he's proposing to his girlfriend, but it doesn't remotely feel like he's gonna propose, so the fake out doesn't really work. Nothing about the behavior screamed, let's be together forever.
You just said we should take the next step.
And that big step is a big step away.
But it's a funny little scene and establishes that he doesn't really have a strong connection with anyone. She then gets to drive him home while he over-exaggerates how heartbroken he is to share.
Do you believe in life after love? Try and share.
That's pretty much what she's relegated to here. Running errands, driving him around, helping him out of these weird situations, having to go to the ex's houses to pick up his stuff. The most he really seems to be doing to integrate her more into the industry is taking the advice that, yeah, the new Icarus script probably needs some rewrites, and she is trying so hard to pitch her friend to do it so that they can then maybe get their own script made later. And as shitty as this seems, I really must stress that she is not struggling. Like, if this blows up, this is what she has to fall back on. She is not paying rent here. This is her family's home. The movie then cuts out any of the fun we're having and goes super serious the second we're on Nicole Kidman's character. A famed and well-regarded writer who lost her husband 11 years ago but looking to put herself back out there as an author, and her editor/mother-in-law is Kathy Bates? Why are you here? You can absolutely be doing better things. How much is Netflix paying? Back to Zara, who isn't ready to quit yet, so she heads to the supermarket to run some errands for him, and I was almost like, is this gonna be like a MILF turn standard romance where they realize they actually like and understand each other instead movie? Because this scene is kind of cute. Like, he needs some protein powder, but also just kind of wants some fun stuff. He hasn't been able to go to a grocery store for like a decade because he's too famous, and they have this cute little conversation about the Oreo wall. But no, that will not be the the case. Which is fine, I just don't think the romance in this movie ends up being particularly effective anyway. The man is a fickle little shit though. The next day she is late getting to his place because she's trying to convince her friend to do the movie rewrite so they'll be able to pitch their script, which at least feels logical, to like one for them, one for us type thing, but I can fully understand why she has no interest in this.
What's this movie even about?
It's Die Hard meets Miracle on 34th Street.
So it's not about anything.
That's so funny because that's exactly how I feel about all the Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV made for streaming action movies. Also, Sherry Cola was in a movie called Shortcomings, which was pretty funny, and she's very good in it. But because Zara's late, he freaks out and basically shuts her out, so she breaks into his home just to tell him she's quitting, which he fights until he fires her for putting one of the shirts she rescued from the ex in the same bag as a pair of his shoes.
It's a Chatouche t-shirt. It's one of a kind. I only have 2.
See, this is the shit they needed to steer into, the stupid, and yes, that means I'd probably be sitting here just calling it stupid, but at least it would be fun. Stupid can be fun. Abigail was stupid and it was fun. So the whole situation just really ends in a weird I quit, you're fired stage. And even though her mom told her she shouldn't take the job, Zara doesn't think she'll be particularly stoked about the quitting part, which is what she tells her bestie Liza Koshy, who I never really watched on YouTube, but the stuff I've seen was pretty funny, so I'm hoping she continues getting some solid opportunities. And as she expected, the mom is not super supportive that she quit because I guess she has a tendency to give up on things, even though one of the main complaints Zara has for herself is that she's now wasted 2 years of her life. And yeah, I think that's giving something a pretty solid try if it never amounts to what was promised. Chris always said he was going to train her to take on a more serious position in his company and be a producer, but he hasn't really made any moves to do that. But again, pardon me for not feeling super bad. Her mom is a rich, successful author. They have a gorgeous multi-level home on the ocean of California. So clearly loaded, clearly some connections, even if they're not in the film industry, you can still use that. Your mom can probably find someone to give you more of a hand at becoming a producer. Or you can just stand up for yourself with the boss who actually owes you things. It's not like you have to pay rent. This is your safety net. You can afford to get a little bit lippy. But whatever, I get it's stressful and I can respect, maybe trying to do it on your own. But the whole situation ends up feeling all the worse when her writer friend pretty much cuts her out as a producer because she's not a real one. I.e., she's not someone with a bunch of money or name recognition to have behind the project, but like, why would you let her go? You can have more than one producer on a movie. Movies have tons of producers. Like, she can be the producer that goes out to find the producers that actually have money. Luckily, or unfortunately for Zara, Chris is lost without her and storms over to her place to get her back and meets the mom.
You were Zara's mom? What, were you in like kindergarten when you had her or something?
Who hasn't ever seen his Icarus movies, which is honestly probably going to work in his favor, but also makes him realize that Icarus was an actual mythological character. Somehow he never realized and no one ever told him or ever asked him about it before, which I don't believe.
Did your character's wings melt flying too close to the sun?
They do get burned flying too close to an underground nuclear fusion plant. That's crazy. How'd you know that?
And while waiting for Zara, they start to bond and realize they have some things in common, like her husband died 11 years ago and his brother died just before he moved to LA. The healthiest kind of bonding. Trauma. They then start talking about news outlets, thinking that he's had work done before mentioning that he's only had chin surgery, which, I don't know, maybe with these people we just stay away from all talks of surgery, plastic or otherwise. It's cool, he's an in-movie superhero, so his in-movie character is definitely doing steroids. And then they just so quickly start to get intimate, and look, he's in his 30s, everyone here is an adult. The weird thing is that he's the daughter's boss, who has presumably been relaying to the mom all the ridiculous stories that she's had about him and all the horrible things he's made her do. And then they start hooking up, and I just feel nothing here. Like, there is no chemistry like there was in The Idea of You. And they're trying to play it for genuine chemistry like they did in that movie, when it should probably be going for like the ridiculous over-the-top thing that they did in Wedding Crashers, when the mom is just really into Owen Wilson's character. Obviously, with him also being into it in this scenario, but I don't know, the vibes are off. Like, I really just don't feel anything between them. For someone who wanted to do a rom-com after all the serious roles she's been doing, Kidman does not remotely feel at home in the genre. At least Zac Efron seems to have his head in the game. Yes, there's a basketball net in my kitchen. And of course, this is when Zara comes home, chokes on a grape, then pretty much knocks herself out. The scene scene. The movie needed so much more of this. Obviously, she's completely horrified, and it's made all the worse when the mom tries comparing it to the thing when Zara got her piercing without permission and justified it by saying it just made sense when the guy was putting it in.
This is my eyebrow piercing, Zara.
Which is really a leap just to get the joke that it made sense when Zac was putting it in. I know his name is Chris in the movie, but like there's just some actors, you know? It's like, I think I called him Zaddy for that entire Firestarter video. But at least he had come to her house bearing gifts. He was gonna make her associate producer on the movie, so she at least gets some official title while doing all the other stuff she has to do for him. It at least gives her some degree of power over what's happening in the movie, and she's finally able to get that script in his trailer to try to get the friend hired. But while she's working on those rewrites, her mom and Chris meet up for dinner, where Chris gets to show that he's a tragic soul. Mom died when he was young, brother died when he was about 19, so he moved to LA and just fell into acting. So, oh my god, he could have actual mommy issues. I also feel like it's weird how out of touch he is at this point when he had such a humble upbringing, but like I guess it's been a decade and things like that can just happen. He just seems a lot more like the Nepo baby of the scenario than the daughter of an author who I guess technically would be or could be a Nepo baby. But the not date is going well, and he tops it all off with a lot tour. Yeah, I imagine this is one of the few places he can bring people to have like a private little time. He even flexes that he read one of her books, quoting a line about how people are islands of one, which is really just a play on that John Donne poem, isn't it? Whatever. Obviously, they start hooking up again. But first, she has rules. 1, don't break her heart, but 2, don't pretend that the situation is more than it is, which kind of feels conflicting. Like, if it's nothing more than a casual fling, how, like, heartbreak should never have been on the table. Like, in theory, I get that there's ways that both of these can apply, but I don't know, pick a lane. This is, of course, after they decide to just be friends for Zara's sake, and he realizes again that he doesn't really have any of those, just a lot of people who think they know who he is. But whatever, back at home, the mom tells Zara that, like, don't worry, it's not serious, but we're just, like, hanging out as friends, which Zara is obviously not a fan of, and only gets worse when he doesn't hire Zara's friend to rewrite the script, even though he thought it was really good. He hires the mom instead, which are all valid reasons to be upset, but it's becoming very obvious that Zara doesn't really take into account anyone else's feelings around her. She's just so self-absorbed in herself and the way she thinks Chris is that it's actually hurting everyone she knows, because she can't stop like hyper-focusing and complaining about that and not listening to anyone else. Like her friend Liza Koshy here, who's having some problems with her boyfriend after meeting his parents and it not going well, which we will get back to, but first they have to go confront the mom about the script rewrites, and then she, of course, just walks in on them making out again, not super stoked on, and the mom just goes for the, like, my whole life has been about how you feel and now it's my turn, which honestly is a fair point. Bad wording though, especially with all the other stuff going on around it, but you know, yeah, she deserves to be happy, and if Chris makes her feel things, that's good for her, but she does make the mistake of saying that Chris makes her feel things she hasn't felt since the dad, and Zara obviously takes great offense to that because, you know, you definitely don't ever want to compare someone to a lost parent, especially when the child was old enough to have grown attached to that parent that was lost. And again, it's her boss, someone who's been undervaluing her and mistreating her for 2 years. But I gotta say that it's Zara's retort here that really just shows how out of touch she is.
If you don't end this with him, Mom, I'm gonna have to move out.
Is that really a threat for a 24-year-old? Like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with living at home later in life. Like, the cost of living these days is ridiculous. There are so many valid reasons to be staying home longer. You can save money if you can handle it and like it, and I don't know, have a beachside mansion house like this. Like, of course, but like, my guy, your mom loves you, but it's not like you're a teenager threatening to run away from home. And yeah, the mom calls the bluff without much thought.
Well, maybe moving in wasn't the best thing.
Ooh, damn, like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but like, what a gut punch way to deliver that. But Zara's reaction is enough for her not to want to continue things with Chris for, you know, 2 seconds. Boy accidentally dropped the L word on the goodbye and they're right back to it.
So have a nice Christmas.
Love you.
Damn! Zara realizes pretty quickly that they are not going to end things, and she's still very pissed and goes to stay with a friend and is just ranting, not realizing the clear tension between Liza and her boyfriend, who is the first to actually call out Zara for her self-absorbed behavior.
Is it possible that none of this has anything to do with you?
She just steamrolls right on through that though, as if nothing was said. But she's gonna make up with her mom enough for Christmas season, and Kathy Bates is all on the milf facilitation train, working real hard to get Zara on board with it all, which better come quick, because she's in invited Chris to Christmas getaway. God, all these people are loaded. They have a separate mountain house? Oh, you don't have to choose between seasons any time of year. You can have the beach any time of year, and you can have the California winter mountains at any time of year. Honestly, I'm on train. The mom should be able to date whoever she wants, but no one really wants to be around their boss at Christmas, so maybe he shouldn't be here. And it does again lead to someone calling Zara out on her potential shit, that even though Chris may be the self-absorbed, selfish diva that she says he is, so is she.
God, he's such a diva.
I know, darling. So are you.
But honestly, it's going really well. He hasn't had a family Christmas in years. They don't really say why he doesn't spend time with his dad, just that home stopped feeling like home after the brother died, so cool, I guess. He's getting the seal of approval from Grandma, and only some of that is wanting to see him naked, and even Zara is coming around to how sweet they are together. But then we get a drop. They decide to ruin the memory of the father by saying that after 3 years of him writing a novel that didn't get the acclaim they anticipated, her book being a near instant pop-off success caused problems in their relationship. Yeah, the man wanted a divorce and to break up their family because his wife did better than him. I can understand how the situation would lead to some personal negative emotions, but to actually just put it on someone else and ask for a divorce from them because you can't handle your own ego is pretty shit, especially when you have a kid. And then it's basically said that the only reason why the divorce didn't happen is because he got sick. So he was literally just willing to use her for emotional support in his time of need when he was ready to leave because she achieved more than him. Lame. So I guess that's why she's a little bit worried to dive into something new. She's worried about letting someone new in and getting hurt, but it's cool. You guys are in different sectors that could work together, but also be so far apart. But Zara hears all of this. They will never actually have a conversation about it together, which you think they should, but it does make her come around more firmly on Chris. He even gets the mom this super thoughtful gift of all of her written work professionally bound, which is so nice, until Zara finds his standard breakup earrings in his bag. Which honestly, at this point, I just would have asked him about. I would have just pulled him aside for a second before everybody had time to leave and just asked him a little question in a no-stress situation, but no, she lets it stew until they get back to town and turns it into a big humiliating reveal on the mom. He tries to say it's because he just didn't know what to get her for Christmas and just got the standard gift he's so used to, but then she just really nails the coffin shut by pointing out that he brings all the girls to the closed lot set for dates.
Did he take you to New York Street, Mom?
But I think that's fine. People can have standard places that they like to go for dates and moves that they do. And I do believe that he didn't intend to end things with her, at least not by the time he went to Christmas with them. No idea why the earrings would have been in his bag, but I guess the plot needed it. So now he's kicked out. The mom is super sad and embarrassed and just genuinely upset and disappointed at how Zara chose to reveal it, which I can get, but I would not want to be anywhere near this family. I don't think I like Nicole Kidman as a character. She's supposed to be very sympathetic, and I don't really feel it. I'm not saying she's wrong in this situation, it's just how she's written feels weird. So Zara again just instantly runs off to Liza's house, doesn't stop to ask her about anything or how she's doing, and then just keeps going on and on about her mom, and then Liza kind of snaps.
Malcolm and I broke up 10 days ago.
Yeah, they were broken up while she was staying with them and was too self-absorbed in the shit with her mom to even notice that something was wrong or that her best friend was heartbroken. Zara then gets mad at Liza for implying that she wouldn't have cared, but based on the fact that she's taking this whole situation personally and not apologizing, yeah, Liza's probably right.
You really think I'm that horrible of a friend that I wouldn't care what you're going through?
Yeah, a little bit. Your friend is heartbroken and finally just snapped, and you're kind of aggressively coming at her for it. Also, what is her name in this movie? She's not actually Liza Koshy in this movie. I think I've made it sound like this is actually just supposed to be Liza Koshy, which would actually be quite funny, but no, her name is Eugenie. Probably Eugenie in English. So she leaves there and goes to stay with Chris's housekeeper, but girl, your family is rich. You don't need to pay rent. Go stay in a hotel. Leave people alone. But yes, she very quickly learns the error of her ways, shows up with the ultimate New Year's breakup kit and an apology for being a bad friend, so that's barely a thing. She then goes to talk to Chris, who's too heartbroken and dejected to go to set because he's I'm such a bad guy. I can't play a good guy. So I wouldn't go that far, but it is nice that he's kind of just coming to terms with the fact that he needs to be a better person. She's learning, he's learning, and it makes her realize that he did actually have feelings for her mom. And yeah, he also didn't fire her after everything that happened, which is just so nice. She is just gonna end up quitting after the movie's done, so good for her, I guess. But Zara's growth will continue when she goes goes to apologize to the mom for being a shit child for most of her life. Because yeah, some of the examples here I cannot remotely imagine pulling with either one of my parents. I guess at the age of 7, she made her mom carry her up the Eiffel Tower while she screamed the entire time. You know, my mom is a lovely person, but I would hate to know what she would have done if I tried pulling that, if we could have afforded to go to France. Like literally, unless that was like a life or death or illness situation, we had to get down the Eiffel Tower, like that would not have flown. But the point is, hey, she acknowledges that she was kind of shitty growing up and that Chris has also been shitty, but people can grow and change. Like she's now growing and changing. And if Chris makes the mom happy, she deserves to be with him. But no, the mom tries to stay pretty firm that it's over between them, that it was just a spark moment in time. It wasn't meant to be. So Zara decides to produce an organic grocery store spontaneous run-in. Getting organic in the organics. And the first indication that things are a little bit weird is that no one in this grocery store is remotely acknowledging him. No double looks, no double takes. But it is cute because he finally gets to grocery shop like he's wanted to for ages. But then over the organic spilled avocados, they re-meet cute. Where he again throws it back to that book line he quoted at her at the beginning of the movie, that he realizes that he was an island and he wasn't equipped for that. He doesn't want to be alone anymore. Which again, is that not the realization that Hugh Grant has about that John Donne poem in About a Boy? Whatever. It's fine. It's cute. Probably would have hit a little harder if we weren't trying to juggle 3 different people's emotional stories in here and we did get a little bit more of like Chris as an island. But as worried as she might be for what's going to happen next, he just wants to, start with this date, start with grocery shopping as the mist machines start flowing around them. Before we cut to a year later and get the quickest little ending here ever, like it looks like the mom wrote another book and is doing a reading of it, and Zara finally has a cushy producer job making her friend's movie with Chris, ending it all off with a your mom joke.
I've just never seen you stay awake through an entire night, so.
Well, that's not what your mom said. I meant the
Get out of my office.
And yeah, this just felt so very abrupt, and I don't know if it's because of the reshoots, because yes, there were reshoots. I guess they got to the end of editing the movie and then realized the ending didn't work and then had to wait to do the reshoots because the strike started. And it actually seems like they realized that the ending fell too much victim to what the rest of the movie did, that it was focused way too much on Chris and the mom when Zara is such an integral part of the story. Apparently in the original ending, they just reconnected on their own on that same soundstage that he took her to on that first official date, and then changed it to the grocery store thing, which I thought was cool because of the moment in the beginning of the movie, but apparently they actually had to add that whole grocery shopping scene at the beginning of the movie to make the grocery store ending work and feel emotionally resonant, which like I'm okay with because it was a cute ending. I kind of think that the movie would have been significantly better if it then refocused even more on them having a friendship versus him having a relationship with the mom. And I think that would have made for a significantly stronger movie overall too. But no, we get this. But it feels like the only reason why they did the year later thing was to show that Zara actually got the job and got some progression herself, because there was no way to like show that she was gonna have that job at the end of the movie unless Chris saying like, yeah, I've been wrong about your daughter. We're gonna make a movie with her. Or if this is the kind of stuff you filmed and you're gonna have it happen that fast, just put it over the credits. Have it be like an end credit, not blooper scene. But whatever, I won't complain too much about that like weird little year later tack on, because at least the ending itself was pretty cute. Sounds like it was a lot cuter than what they were originally cooking up, so we will allow it. But yeah, that is the movie. It is so perfectly bland. I think a huge issue I have with it is the mom character. I don't know if Kidman just doesn't have it in her to be goofy anymore, or if the movie wasn't written in a way to let her shine in that area, but it just felt like every scene she in just undercuts what this movie should have been steering into, which was harder into the comedy. Like this movie probably needed to have like a Wedding Crashers or Forgetting Sarah Marshall style vibe to work, and it like again, the more Kidman is on screen, the more that humor just starts draining out of it. It kind of felt like it was a tug of war between Lifetime and Apatow, and after like the 20-minute mark, Lifetime just started winning out. And I do feel confident saying the movie was supposed to steer more into this goofy comedy idea, because the original title of the movie was literally Motherfucker. For one, that would have been so much better. Like obviously they were gonna blur out the word fucker, but it would have been so much more fun. But no, we get this mixed sentimental mess of characters because the movie clearly wanted to focus on Efron and Kidman while Joey King is framed to be the main character. But that is gonna do it for today's video. I know that was like kind of rambly and all over the place. I'm having a hard time talking today. I don't know why. But let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and thanks as always to my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on the video if you're into that kind of thing. All my other social medias are listed down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm mostly okay, and we'll catch you all later.